Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are about to delve into the latest news on Wendy Williams. For those of you who may not know, Wendy Williams has been a prominent figure in daytime television for quite some time with her show, The Wendy Williams Show. But these past few years, Wendy has unfortunately been struggling with health issues, which led her to cancel her show. She has dealt with many things these past few years in her personal life, and now she's under a guardianship. There are talks of her potentially being exploited, not only by her guardian, but her family and her team, and basically everybody around her as well. This past weekend was the release of her 4-part documentary on Lifetime, so let's just get into everything. Just as a little backstory, Wendy has dealt with a number of ongoing health issues, including Graves' disease, lymphedema, and alcohol abuse. In January 2022, Wells Fargo, Wendy's bank, put a hold on her accounts and decided to have a New York Supreme Court hearing to figure out if she really needed somebody to look after her due to her ongoing health issues.
There was talk that Wells Fargo got involved in this because they thought either her son, Kevin Jr., or somebody was taking advantage of her financially.
Yeah.
Do you know that to be true?
So I personally have not seen family taking advantage of my aunt's money. I haven't.
Have you ever taken money from your mother's account?
Not without her consent.
The judge ultimately picked a guardian, who was Sabrina Morrissey, to temporarily manage her finances in March 2022, and that person got confirmed in May. Sabrina is an associate lawyer at Morrissey LLP and is responsible for the welfare of Wendy and also controls her assets. Her legal practice focuses on trusts and estates law, guardianships, and small corporation matters. There are several allegations made against Sabrina by Wendy and her family, which we'll get into later in this video. Wendy recently shared some significant news about her health, including a diagnosis of frontotemporal dementia and aphasia.
There's something wrong. Go on.
Did you see a neurologist to find out if I'm crazy?
Oh my God, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. I have to sit down again.
I have no idea where we are. This doesn't look like anything familiar.
I think she's losing memory. Have you guys noticed that?
Her limo driver claims that sometimes Wendy Williams would try to make him take her to work, not realizing that her show was canceled like years ago. Sometimes she'll make her driver take her to a location, and once they leave the location, she'll make him take her back because she forgot that they ever went. Sometimes she forgets who her driver even is. So she is really bad off.
Aphasia is a nervous system syndrome that affects the ability to communicate, with patients often struggling to express thoughts and even losing their ability to speak or write. Frontotemporal dementia, or FTD, is an incurable brain disorder caused by damage to the left side of the brain that affects the language and communication abilities. Its symptoms, which get worse over time, often can be managed, but there is no treatment that can slow or prevent their progression. The rare disease tends to strike people at a younger age than other forms of dementia, with most diagnosed between the ages of 45 and 64 years old. Hollywood star Bruce Willis also suffers from aphasia and frontotemporal dementia. The conditions meant that he had to give up his acting career. In a press release, her team said, "Wendy is able to still do many things for herself. Most importantly, she maintains her trademark sense of humor and is receiving the care that she requires to make sure she is protected and that her needs are addressed. She is appreciative of the many kind thoughts and good wishes being sent her way." In the midst of all this, and just 72 hours before coming out with Wendy's new diagnoses, Lifetime just came out with a documentary titled "Where is Wendy Williams?", which was filmed between August 2022 and April 2023.
Nobody can do it like Wendy. No one.
People love Wendy.
You are a star.
She was in her living room every single day for 12 years.
Yep, I guess that'll do.
The day the documentary was announced, Wendy's temporary guardian Sabrina filed a lawsuit under seal against Lifetime in a New York state court. On Friday, a New York appellate judge ruled that Lifetime may go forward with releasing its documentary about Wendy despite the lawsuit. The order says that such a ruling would be an impermissible prior restraint on speech that violates the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Although Wendy herself is an executive producer on the documentary, it seems that her niece, Alex, is very much spearheading the whole documentary operation, which we'll get into a little bit later.
And boy, oh boy, that niece wants her face all over your TV screens by any means necessary. I can tell you that right now.
Now, Wendy's family actually says that she's been diagnosed with alcohol-induced dementia. The Hollywood Reporter reported in part 4 of the documentary, Williams returns to Miami, Florida to visit with her family nearly a year after her last trip in the fall of 2021. When a producer asks Williams' son, Kevin Hunter Jr., why his mom came to stay with them during her previous visit, he reveals that doctors told him she was suffering from alcohol-induced dementia. From taking her appointments and things like that, I was able to really learn more about things going on with my mother internally, he says. They basically said that because she was drinking so much, it was starting to affect her headspace and her brain. In the first episode of the series, when asked about rumors that Wendy's still battling substance abuse issues, she tells producers, "I love vodka, and the problem is with Wanda. She's my sister. I love Wanda, but she hates that I love alcohol." Her longtime friend, Regina Schall, claims that Wendy's alcohol dependency peaked during the end of her marriage to her ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, who fathered a child with another woman while he was still married to Wendy. Wendy entered a treatment facility in 2019 but returned to New York for her show and lived in a sober home while filming. She entered a wellness center for 2 months during filming for the documentary but wasn't sure why she was admitted. Watch this scene where she said that she was forced into going to the mental health facility against her will by her guardian.
You went to a wellness center in California, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about that. What was that like?
A wellness center.
And why did you go to a wellness center?
I don't know. Will took me there.
Why do you think we took you there?
I don't know.
So you thought we just had nothing else for you to do?
Correct.
At some point, her niece said, "When it comes to my aunt's dementia, there are things that didn't help her: divorce, the pandemic, and then losing my grandmother." There was a scene in the documentary where Wendy claims that her guardian is stealing money from her and that she wants to sue.
Has stolen from my account. Right?
I don't know because I'm not involved in your finances, but if you have proof and evidence of that.
There's no money for me at Wells Fargo. None. Zero. Impossible.
Like your accounts at Zip, that's what you're being told?
Yep. And I will sue all the people involved.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
According to the Hollywood Reporter, concerns have been raised over the guardianship by Wendy's sister Wanda amid claims that her family are not allowed to visit the TV star.
I think that the guardianship system is broken. We are her family, and you tell me that I'm not capable of taking care of my sister. What would you do? What should I do?
It was also reported that Sabrina has stopped alimony payments to Wendy's ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, and their son, Kevin Hunter Jr., has been cut off and is struggling to keep up with his rent. However, a source told the outlet that Wendy's manager, Will Shelby, and publicist Sean Zanotti were still on the payroll. The response to this documentary has been all over the place. Some people are claiming that nobody really has Wendy's best interest at heart, and the reality of the situation is just that her team and her family are fighting for the right to exploit Wendy themselves.
I mean, it really looks to me like both sides are exploiting her and taking advantage of her current situation, while accusing the other side of trying to exploit her and take advantage of her situation.
One user tweeted, "I could not watch this documentary. The whole thing felt gross and exploitative. Bruce Willis's family would have never." In an article titled, "Where is Wendy Williams? Docuseries is unsettling and exploitative," Variety states, "What's now clear is that Where's Wendy Williams is not a series about the next chapter of Williams' life, but instead an exploitative display of her cognitive decline and emotional well-being." From the moment Williams appears on screen in episode 1, I'm Not a Crier, it's clear that something is very wrong. Fans have seen Williams struggle publicly with her health beginning in October 2017 when she fainted on the set of The Wendy Williams Show. As Where is Wendy Williams opens, a lingerie-clad Williams stumbles barefoot into her filming room. Though she initially talks about being thrilled to put her talk show behind her and embark on a new podcasting venture, she's barely able to answer the producer's repetitive questions. Instead, she's quickly reduced to tears regarding inquiries about her appearance, alcohol abuse, and financial woes. The interview ends with the former broadcaster weeping into the arms of her manager, Will Shelby. Much of the series continues this way, with people speaking for and at Williams. Figures like Shelby, DJ Booth, publicist Sean Zanotti, and friend Regina Schall appear intent on filling in the gaps what happened with Williams following the end of her talk show, which has already been hashed out in the press for several years. Most disturbing is that some of these figures are clearly just trying to be seen with Williams in paparazzi shots or on camera. It's also critical to address how Williams is physically depicted in the docuseries. During her 14-season run on the Wendy Williams show, the interviewer was known for her perfectly curled wigs, an array of brightly colored dresses, hoop earrings, and bedazzled sneakers. Those scenes of Williams without her wig and signature makeup might appear to give audiences a raw and unfiltered portrait of the commentator. Now that her diagnosis has been made public, one can't help but wonder whether she truly wants these aspects of her private life on display. At the beginning of episode 3, I Love Being Famous, Williams' niece Alex Finney visits her from Florida. The news anchor is immediately disturbed by the state of her aunt's appearance, apartment, and the random people who have anchored themselves around her, so much so that it moves her to tears. It's also alarming that when Williams is given the mic, she is often seen thrusting out her middle finger or belittling those around her. In response to a moment in the documentary where Wendy takes her wig off, one user tweeted, "This is a moment I never in my life thought I would see. This broke me. She really isn't well, y'all, and she really is being taken advantage of."
We're true makers. Real makeup.
So beautiful.
Variety reported, while Williams's cognitive deterioration is pronounced here, what's most devastating about Where's Wendy Williams is the apparent loneliness that she feels. A forceful separation from her family, who seem shocked by her mental state, a lack of funds, and a platform appear to have only exacerbated her issues. Moreover, Williams's appointed guardian's absence and apparent lack of care are extremely distressing and should be investigated further. At the close of the 2-night event, one thing has never been more certain. The cameras should have stopped rolling in Williams's life the moment she left her show set for the last time. One user tweeted, "Wendy Williams is being exploited by her family and her fans are so toxic they can't wait to see the woman they claim to love at her worst possible state." Wendy's family went on a media tour to promote this tragic Lifetime docuseries, but they didn't have that same energy to get court-ordered guardianship to protect Wendy. The family admits to Wendy's cognitive impairment and substance abuse, yet they're stating that she's cognizant enough to make decisions about this Lifetime docuseries while being under a court-order conservatorship. This is what Wendy's niece had to say in an interview with ABC News in response to people saying that this documentary is exploitative.
With my aunt, some of the issues that are being presented in this documentary have been there before, but it just really sped up over the last 2 years or so and just mushroomed into something that felt uncontrollable. She definitely cognitively has some things that are off.
Some people are going to look at this and say, this is exploitation. She's being exploited. How could they do this?
Right.
What do you say to that?
You know, and I understand that some people look at it and think that. My aunt is the executive producer of this documentary. And when I finally talked with her and I said to her, do you want to do this? She said, now is the perfect time because I want to take ownership of my story.
But does she have the capacity to take ownership of her story? Does she really know what she's doing?
I think that it comes in waves. And even in the conversations that I would have with her, right? Like that conversation was crystal clear.
It's just odd because there are two conflicting narratives going on. Either Wendy is unable to fend for herself and is cognitively declining and all that, or she's the executive producer of the show and was able to give full consent to its release.
Which one is it? Which one is it? Because it looks to me like everyone involved, including the family, maybe even specifically mostly the family, it looks like y'all are taking advantage of her situation.
And then there is this interesting take, which I'll just leave for you guys. This user tweeted, "I don't wish Wendy Williams' situation on anyone, but she is a horrible actress and her docuseries was a total waste of my time. Wendy was an addict well before she met Kevin, her ex-husband, so let's not pretend as if he is the cause of her health issues. She shouldn't have released this Lifetime docuseries because it appears that she's just trying to get out of paying her ex-husband Kevin Hunter his money. There is no prenup. Wendy, quote, allegedly was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia and aphasia last year, but she has the cognitive abilities to be the executive producer of her own Lifetime docuseries from 2 years ago this year. Yeah, sure. Wendy's situation is a cautionary tale of an educated professional woman who married an uneducated street hustler and got played. We have all played the part of a fool at one time or another, but Wendy's low self-esteem is the cause of her marrying a street dude who didn't have a pot to piss in, without financially protecting herself. Wendy married Kevin with no prenup. She was foolish enough to make him her manager and even made him the co-executive producer of her highly successful television show. Yes, her hard work, determination, and vision she placed in the hands of a street dude who didn't have a pot to piss in. What? Why does she keep repeating this? And she didn't have a problem with his mistress of 15 years until the mistress gave birth to his daughter. So no need to start fronting now. I have said it before and I will say it again. You date and marry at your level of self-esteem. Wendy needs to cut her losses and pay Kevin his money because the truth really is she actually played herself. Now, this take is saying that all of these health issues are blown out of proportion. Wendy is actually not on a cognitive decline, and this is all a ploy for Wendy to get out of paying her ex-husband alimony, which, you know, it's interesting. It's out there, but it's interesting. But in regards to her having known that she had a mistress for 15 years, I actually found this clip of Wendy stating that it's one thing for your husband to cheat on you, but then it's another thing for him to go out and have a whole ass baby. So maybe that's evidence towards her having known that he was cheating, but I don't know.
In April, you filed for divorce from your husband.
Correct.
Kevin, after nearly 22 years of marriage.
Correct.
And
25 years being together.
Being together.
Correct.
And because of his infidelity.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
You know, infidelity is one thing. A full baby is a whole nother topic. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you said in the New York Times Magazine, I'm a very forgiving person, but there's one thing I could never be a part of, and that one thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
The baby did it.
A baby.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This is crazy. It's very unfortunate. It's honestly like I felt like crap making this video, but I would love to know what your thoughts are on all of this. Please make sure to subscribe for more videos. We are back posting on a continuous basis, so hit that subscribe button and push that notification bell. And for now, here's some eye bleach.
Clap if you care. All right, let's move on. Perfect.